Now we're recording. Super. Hi, my name is Christina Schultz, and I'm the Lit at Westview High School. I have two people that are here with me today, so I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm Perrenboom, and I am the Lit and Canvas facilitator at Five Oaks and Rachel Carson.
And I'm Rebecca Larson. I teach at Sunset High School. I teach English Language Arts 9, and I'm a Canvas facilitator.
And I'm stepping on your toes. If you guys can mute yourselves when you're not speaking, you won't cut out on us as much. Thank you.
So we are walking through today best comprehensive distance practices. So how to connect, engage, teach, check, and respond. So entering multimedia kind of hits all of those points, as you can do a lot with it. Just to cover some basic Canvas terminology once again, in Canvas, all of your courses should be dashboard items or tiles on your dashboard. They will newly be organized according to which ones are published or not published, so you can see very easily whether or not there's a course you need to publish. Until you publish that course, students will not see it. They do not even see the tile, so that's just something to note. Modules are a way to organize your Canvas course, and we'll kind of talk briefly about why that's a good deal. But Canvas has a whole bunch of options, a whole bunch of links on the left-hand side. If we make all of those visible, students have a hard time navigating exactly what they're expected to do. So just having modules, you can include all of that within the context of a module, and it makes it easier for parents to assist their student and for students to understand what's expected of them. Within modules, you can have content, so there's a whole bunch of things you can do there. And every single thing that you can do in Canvas, discussions, quizzes, pages, assignments, has something called a rich content editor. And that's what we're going to kind of be playing with a little bit today. So here's something that you can try out. You can give me feedback on whether or not it works for you. But if you want to work on your course while you're in this Zoom, as long as the Zoom is not maximized, you can hover over this little green button and minimize it so it's not full screen. And then if you hover over the button again in a Chrome web browser, you can tile one window on the left and one window on the right so you can see both at the same time. And that's also a trick that you can try with your students. They can do that in their Chromebook as well. So if you're trying to figure out how to teach from Chrome or from Canvas, that's something to think about. So we're going to jump right in. This is what Canvas looks like. I'm going to go into a fake course. This is my fake sample course. This year, you're actually given templates. This is not one of the templates that made the cut, but it's an example of a home page. For those of you that are new to Canvas, or for those folks that were using Canvas last year and don't understand why there's buttons here on the bottom, the reason for that is we were taking parent and student feedback. And one of the things we've realized is in the parent and student app on their phone, they do not see this left-hand side toolbar. So by providing the buttons that go to those items on the left-hand side toolbar, they can still access that content no matter what device that they are on. Additionally, this toolbar over here was super confusing for some of our marginalized students. And so lowering that down to just one or two items, the home, the modules, and perhaps grades, can really help them navigate their course. Oops. So real quickly, I'll go to a module. So in modules, you can add just about everything. So I did one up here for the last session, a good for all. You can add a discussion where all students can just add to the discussion. If you want to add a module, you just click the big blue button that says plus module. Any module you create will be created at the bottom of the list. I don't know why I'm typing the word bottom now. You can lock it until a particular date or time. So if you want this module to be available at a particular date, you can lock it until that date or time, and then it will be released. You can also add a prerequisite, so you can have different modules be necessary for them to see the next module. You can also take those off if you don't want to. Once you have created a module, you can add all kinds of content. So like I said, there's all of these different things. Today, I'm just going to look at a page and show you some of the things that you can put in a page. Oops. And if you see, I just added a new page and nothing happened. There's no edit, etc. So when you're first creating your module, you're just creating placeholders for content. And if you click on that page, you'll see that you have an ability to edit. So just like in assignments again, in discussions and your syllabus and announcements, etc., you'll see the same sort of view. So you'll have the ability to title that page. Then you also have a rich content editor. So you can do a whole bunch of stuff with that. A lot of these buttons should look familiar for any Google Doc, any Word doc that you've ever seen. They are what they are. That's pretty cool. You can put tables in. The one thing about tables, just to note, is that when, even on the home pages.
I know.
I know. So this is a table, which is awesome. But as you move the screen, and especially if you're on a phone, I tried to make it somewhat dynamic. But tables can do funny, weird things, and your content can get lost or can get all screwy. So just to be forewarned about tables, they do have some issues. You can also do a whole bunch of other stuff in your in this view. You can add hyperlinks. So for those of you that don't know how to hyperlink, I don't know why I went to a different page. You can just highlight those words, click hyperlink or the little chain, paste in a link that you have from a different document, and then students would be able to navigate directly there. This one here is to remove that link. So if you don't want it to be there anymore, you just click it and it's gone. You can embed images. So this is kind of an interesting thing. You can get images from URLs. What is probably preferable is getting images from your Canvas that you have uploaded. And I'll show you why in a second. You can also get them from Flickr. I'll just do that one. So I always look for kittens. And the only reason that you don't want to use these ones from Flickr, they do delightful little images. They go in right away. But if a student is on this page and they click on it, it will open up in a new tab Flickr to that image, and then they're no longer on your page. So you can always just download that image and share it that way. You can embed anything from YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, I always look at Kid President. You can search for things on YouTube, so by just typing in keywords. Then there's an option to embed. You can embed any size. You might want to embed small. If you're putting content around it, you can also embed large. And what that looks like is a really big, humongous screen. If you don't like it, you can always, again, just X out of it, push your delete button, and you're good. If you have a particular YouTube video that you want to use, you can search for that YouTube video. And if you have the link, I think this one I tried to look for this morning, it didn't find it because it's private.
Christina, so because we're supposed to be putting all of our stuff on YouTube, which is great in its own realm, captioning and other options. But I find when I search for my videos, they don't show up. So I just pull my link from my account into there, and that's where I have high success.
That's exactly what I was about to show. So over here, I have a video that I created. It is from Beaverton. It's out there. And underneath in a YouTube video, there is a share button. And you can start it at any given time. So if I want to start it at second 11, I can do that. And then if I want to put it in my Canvas course, I can just click this embed. And it gives you scary stuff, so don't even look at it. Just highlight all of that, copy it, and then come back to your course. And over here on the right-hand side is this little button called the HTML editor. Don't be afraid of it. Just press Command V, and that pastes it inside. If you toggle back to your rich content editor, there's your video. So you can do that with a whole bunch of different kinds of content using that rich content or the HTML editor. But if you find something, and I'll show you a couple things that you can do that way. But before I do, I just wanted to show you what this little button over here is. There's a drop down, and you can also embed multimedia from all of these different sources. So for example, you can embed absolutely anything from Google. So, with one exception, I would say. So Google Forms can't really be embedded this way. They don't quite work, but pretty much everything else, you can click on the Google Apps Use This. There is another one down here, but it has the words use this after it because it's the better one. Students can also, or you can embed things from Adobe Spark, which is another great program. If you click on that, it'll bring up your Google Drive. It might ask you to authorize. It might ask you to authorize every single time, but that's okay. There is a search button. You can search for just about anything. I'm just going to search for one of my untitled documents. Oh, apparently I'm just going to click on that one. And then if you click down here, you'll see that there's two different things. I can have it show up as a link, or I'll show you how to do Google Forms in a sec. Or you can embed. And so if I embed it, then I will see that document here in a second as soon as my authorization goes through. And it comes with the full toolbar. Students cannot type on this, but they can view it. So if I want to embed like that, I can leave entire documents, etc. So I do have an example of that over here. So this is actually a Google slide deck that I have embedded. So you can embed any Google slide deck. Last year I used slide decks for my students. This one doesn't have more than one slide, but if it did, they can pan through all the different slides just by clicking on the image. You can also, I'll show you that in a second. This is another Google Doc that is embedded. So you can just have Google Docs embedded, and all of these hyperlinks will function and work. So they can still interact with that particular document. They just can't type on it. Do animations show up? See, they do, look. So in my slide decks that I used for my course, usually it was my writing prompt. And so I would have like a 15-minute YouTube timer. Those are really awesome to use. I would have it in my class as well. But in case students couldn't attend my class on a particular day, I just wanted them to try to write stream of consciousness writing for 15 minutes every day. So I had the YouTube timer embedded, and then I had a Google slide deck embedded with their writing prompt. And then you can also have them do an assignment down below so they could see the prompt in the same window as they were looking or they were doing their writing. And they could see those animations or watch that video if that was the prompt in the same window. This is another example that I just wanted to show you. So this is our library page at Westview. So again, this is just a Google slide deck. And the great thing about using a Google slide deck is that any edits that I do in Google will automatically populate to my Canvas page. So I don't need to mess around. And one of the pretty things about adding Google slide decks is that you can make them look prettier sometimes than Canvas. The bad thing about adding Google slide decks and different things into your Canvas page is that they're not viewable on they're not always viewable on the parent app. And sometimes parents can't see them, especially if they don't have their Google Drive authorized. So it's just something to note. I had these available for my students too on our page. So this is just a cool slide deck where it shows them how to do different googly stuff. It's really tiny, but it has like little Gifs about how to do things in Google. If you say to yourself, how can you even look at it so small? They can pop any of those open into a bigger screen. So it's just another example of how you can do that. You can also embed videos. So there's a video over here. These are kind of in a table, which is why it looks a little weird. You can embed a whole Google Drive. So I've embedded this Google Drive. It shows little icons for all the different documents. So if I wanted to just have a Google Drive folder available for students, I can do that. And then this one here is a folder within that Google Drive. Usually I also put a link to the drive itself. So if they want to open it up and see all the contents of that folder, then they can do that. So they can also navigate to that. One other thing I just wanted to show you that we have on our Westview page from last year is you can do live Google feeds. So when we had graduation, we had it feeding through our Canvas account as well as our YouTube. So these are our videos from that. In addition, on this page, in case you have social media, we wanted at Westview to make sure students understood which Twitter accounts were associated directly with our school so that they didn't get confused. So I embedded Twitter feeds. I embedded a PowerPoint. And then down here, I also embedded a blog. The only thing that you cannot embed, as far as I'm aware, is a Google site for whatever reason. So just to show you how most of those places have the ability, there's a share button. So if it's on YouTube, if it's on a Google Doc, etc., there's a share button. And if you go down, most of them have an item bar on it that says embed. So this is, again, that scary part that's not too scary. Usually it has a copy button, so it has all kinds of ugliness. And if you go back to your page, you just toggle to that HTML editor and you say, I'm going to put it in there. You go back to your rich content editor and shebang, it's coming. You can have an interactive Padlet on your page. So those are a couple of things that you can do. I'm going to pause for a second. I've talked way too long.
Christina,
Are there any? Yeah.
there's a couple of things that it'd be awesome if you could demo for us. Well, you kind of just showed how to do the Google Forms. You use that same embed code, and then the Google form will show up on your pages. The other question was about creating the pages outside of the module and then putting them into the module.
Okay, just a sec. I'm going back to that Google form for you real quick. So I don't know why Google Forms, when you try to embed them just straight from the Google LTI, no, it's not going to do it. It doesn't show up. If you want to talk about that, Rebecca, while my computer's going super slow.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure too, but I do kind of have to do the workaround that Christina's pulling up now, where you have to go to your Google, your actual form, and then get the copy code or embed link and then drop it in. So she can do that here.
And it's super cool. So again, there's usually the icon is the same no matter what the website. So this is, send on an email. This is link. This is embed. And so this is the embed code. You can make it bigger or smaller. So they give you the option here to make it as big or small as you want. And then you just hit copy. So a lot of them try to make it as easy as possible. And then if you come back to our page, again, HTML editor. And here's a trick that I do just for myself is if I want to put something in a particular place, I type on that actual page, I type X's. So I don't know how to read code. I mean, I kind of do, but so then I know exactly where it's going to show up. If I want it to show up right after these X's, then if I go to the HTML editor, I say, oh, where's the X's? Oh, there they are. Okay, so then I'm going to put that there, and then I might put X's after it just so that I know where it's going to be. And then there's my Google Doc or my Google form. So students can reply directly in that. If it's not long enough, then I can go back and toggle that length. And then there's my X's so I know where the next thing is.
One thing to note on that, a Google form is not connected in any way to Canvas SpeedGrader. So if you have students completing a Google form, to see the responses, you'll have to go into your form responses. It's not going to show up in SpeedGrader for you. So
and I think one of the questions was, how do I add just a page that I created in Pages into my module? So if I go to modules.
And I think this is important too, like a module, I always tell people, it's kind of like your filing cabinet, like it organizes your stuff, but there's nothing in it. You're the one who has to kind of put stuff in it. So you put an assignment or a quiz or a page. So you're kind of gathering things kind of in this place, but the module itself will never have that rich content editor because it's just kind of this empty vessel that you will fill.
Right. And kind of speaking to that point, not to go back or anything, but one of the things that we've talked about quite a bit is when I set up my modules, I try to think of how am I going to connect with my students today? What am I going to do to engage them? What thing am I going to do to teach them? How am I going to check back that that teaching was understood? And what are they going to do to respond to me? And then as I'm building my module and asking myself those questions, I try to make sure that I say, okay, I'm going to add what to engage them. I'll do a discussion. The other thing just great about modules, and then I'll show you how to add that page, is you can also, if you have that structure, you can duplicate the entire module. So you can do that as many times as you want. Of course, now I'm not seeing that button, but you can copy the entire thing. You can send it to yourself, you can move it, but you can also just duplicate it. And so if you have like a structure, then you can add different contents. But once you have a module, if you built a page just under pages, you just click on that plus button. I was talking, so I'll do it again. And I had a page, so I go down to pages, and it lists all the pages that I have in this course. I think I called that one this page. I call them like, oh, okay, there it is. This is no, it's this one. Okay. Obviously, I do the same thing. And if you see it now, this page, when I click on it, will have contents, but the students, just so you know, will not see this page yet because for two reasons. Number one, this button up here has not been clicked, so I haven't published the module. And I can also choose to publish or not publish that page. So now if I click on this page, everything is there and they can see it.
Christina, can you share a little bit how you make those GIFs? Is there a website or a resource that we could give to people?
So GIFs are pretty cool. If you go into, sorry, I had to let somebody in because, oh goodness. So GIFs are awesome because, for two things, and oh, I'll show you two things. Oh, I need to not show lots of things. All right, so if you go to images on Google, and you type in kittens, because I think that's pretty safe on Google. You can, under tools, you can select what kind of thing you're looking for, and you can look for GIFs. And if you do arrows, so if you click on this one, it'll give you an example of what the GIF looks like. Hopefully it's not a bad GIF. So it's kittens. So you can download any of those. You just control, right click, and then you can save that image, and any of those would work on your site. I know this one is a super cute one because they're putting their heads through a box. Okay, I'm gonna stop looking at kittens. Additionally, I just need to show you guys this, and I'm sorry if it's bad, but everybody has pro accounts to something called WeVideo. We should definitely do some professional development on WeVideo. But WeVideo continues to add cool stuffs, including this little button right here. You can make your own GIFs, which I think for this year is pretty phenomenal because what is awesome about making a GIF in WeVideo is you can walk through the process of how to do something, and you can put that image absolutely anywhere. So I have a slide deck over here where I created some GIFs. And the great thing about WeVideo is when you create those GIFs, here's one, if it'll come up. You can actually add subtitles and words. So as the GIF is playing, these words can change. The other great thing that you can't do in Giphy, and I know that there's different GIF creators, you can slow down your video so it's going super slow. So step by step, they can see exactly what's going on. You can do overlays. Everything that you can do in WeVideo, you can now do and make a GIF out of. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. Oh, and the great thing about GIFs is you can embed videos, obviously, in a Google slide deck presentation. You cannot embed videos into a Google Doc, but you can embed GIFs. So that's a nice thing. Word to the wise.
Awesome.
So any other questions?
Yes, it's kind of just a minor thing related to this. Can you make GIFs out of iPhone live photos?
Hmm. Um, I'm sure you probably can. I would have to look at, I'm sure there's probably a GIF creator. I don't know what file types WeVideo accepts, and I don't know if they do live photos or not. I could test that and get back to you. But you can make just about anything in WeVideo, and you can bring in your own content. So you can either, it has a record button, so you can either share your screen. You can have your screen and your webcam if that's what you like to do, or just your webcam. And then it allows you to either choose your entire screen, your application, or your Chrome tab. So it gives you a lot of flexibility on exactly what you're sharing. And then you have a full suite of how you're going to edit that in WeVideo. And all of that saves to, it can directly save to your YouTube if you're making a video. It directly saves to your Google Drive, and you can send it to different media sources.
And is this the free account? Because I noticed they do have paid options.
I think everybody in the district has paid accounts, or
so sign up with our district Google.
yeah, as long as you log in with your district Google.
Okay.
And students do too. The way that WeVideo accounts kind of work in the district is, I believe we have a set number of accounts, and they kind of float. So as students use them, they have the pro account, and then if they stop using them, they float to the next student that logs in, more or less. It's an easy way of putting it. So all students essentially have pro accounts as long as every single student is not using WeVideo at the exact same time. They also said that they are adding collaboration like in a Google Doc. And there's a bunch. I mean, WeVideo, I can dive deep, but that's not what we're doing. So anyway, it's a fun tool. We'll try to add some PD about that, but you can create just about anything in WeVideo. I know some people, my husband was a hardcore iMovie guy, and then he started playing with WeVideo, and he's like, I don't know why I ever used iMovie. Okay, so we're at 11:30. I just want to tell people thank you for coming. If you want to hang out, I'll hang out some more. But I just do want to honor your time and just thank you for coming, for your questions, and hopefully I answered those. If not, email me and I'll try to get back to you.
Let me just say, I just did it. Make sure you, when that you log in, don't sign up. Just, everybody's already logged in. I'm not sure everybody knows that. I didn't know that. On WeVideo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thank
Always
you.
your BSD Google account, and then it'll kind of link and be able to reach your educator.
Yep. Thank you.
And
there's no exit ticket here?
nope, you're good.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Christina, should I stop recording here, but we can hang out if you have questions?